Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.
They're running out of time, and you can almost hear it if you listen closely enough. Not the ticking of a clock on the wall, but the sharper, more unsettling sound of doors quietly closing across the league. One by one. Soft clicks that don't make headlines, but change everything. Because when the market tightens like this, there's no room left for hesitation, only pressure. And pressure, in baseball, has a habit of exposing who's bluffing and who's actually prepared. Right now, all eyes are fixed on New York, but that's only because people haven't yet realized where the real consequences are headed. This isn't just a Yankees story. This is a chain reaction story, and one of those links lands squarely, uncomfortably, in Toronto's lap. Welcome back to the Blue Jays Report, because today's story isn't about a superstar suddenly transforming into an MVP overnight. It's about scarcity, leverage, and the kind of uncomfortable decisions that define franchises for years. The name at the center of this storm is Jazz Chisholm Jr., not because his numbers scream perfection, but because the board has shifted in a way that forces everyone's hand. And when the board shifts, even flawed pieces suddenly look valuable. Ken Rosenthal didn't dress it up or soften the edges. Ketel Marte is not available. Full stop. The Diamondbacks shut the door, locked it, and slid the key under the rug. And the moment that happened, the market exhaled sharply, because the best second baseman on the table simply vanished. When the best option disappears, whatever remains doesn't just stay the same. It inflates. Warts and all. Jazz Chisholm Jr. became that inflated asset the second Marte was taken off the chessboard. Let's be honest. And let's be fair. Ketel Marte is the better player. He's steadier at the plate, calmer in the field, and doesn't come with defensive chaos trailing behind him like a storm cloud. The numbers don't lie. A .283 average, an on-base percentage brushing .380, slugging north of .500, an OPS flirting with elite company. Jazz, by comparison, posted a .242 average, and .813 OPS, and committed 18 defensive errors. 18. That's not a footnote. That's runs bleeding through the infield, games quietly slipping away while the scoreboard doesn't scream about why. And yet, the market doesn't care about fairness. It doesn't care about comfort. It cares about what's left. Scarcity has a way of turning risk into currency, and suddenly Jazz Chisholm Jr., flaws and all, is a movable piece with leverage attached. The Yankees understand this better than most, even if they didn't plan to be here. New York entered the offseason with that familiar air of control, like a high-stakes poker player leaning back in their chair, convinced they could dictate the tempo. The problem is the tempo sped up without asking permission. DJ LeMahieu was cut loose. Ryan McMahon arrived to stabilize the defense, but the bat hasn't followed. The bullpen kept leaking. The rotation still feels one arm short of safety. And hovering over everything is Cody Bellinger, still treated as priority number one. If the Yankees want to solve more than one problem at once, Jazz becomes the obvious, if imperfect, chip. That's when the whispers start, and whispers in baseball never stay quiet for long. The Giants poking around, desperate for more punch in the infield. The Tigers preparing for life after Gleyber Torres. Other front offices calling, not to commit, but to feel the temperature, because 31 home runs still echo loudly, even when 18 errors are shouting just as hard. Now pause here for a moment, and if you're enjoying how this story is unfolding, do me a favor. Like the video, share it with another Jays fan, and subscribe to the Blue Jays Report. This channel grows because you're part of the conversation, not because of recycled noise, and the next decision Toronto makes could reshape everything we talk about this season. Here's the straight talk in the middle of all this. The Yankees gain flexibility. Jazz gets a new stage, possibly a cleaner slate. The market inflates around scarcity. And while the noise comes from New York, San Francisco, and Detroit, there's one franchise watching this entire dance with an expression that's far more conflicted. Toronto. The Blue Jays entered this offseason with confidence, maybe too much of it. The plan felt clean on paper. Keep Bo Bichette. Chase Kyle Tucker. Come out of winter stronger than you went in. Simple. Elegant. And then reality intervened, because reality always does. Kazuma Okamoto happened, and with that investment, one door quietly closed without ceremony. Jim Bowden said it plainly. You can't have everything. It's either Bichette or Tucker, not both. And now the signal has grown louder, and far more uncomfortable. Bo Bichette has a meeting scheduled with the Phillies. Virtual, discreet, but real. This isn't a random leak or off-season smoke drifting through social media. This is how the market breathes. Losing Bichette isn't just losing a bat or a glove. It's losing identity. It's losing a face fans have grown up with. And Toronto knows that. But they also know something else, something colder and more dangerous. Losing Bichette without replacing him with equal weight would be a mistake that charges interest every single year. That's where Kyle Tucker stops being a rumor and turns into an obsession. A World Series champion. A complete outfielder. A player who doesn't shrink when October lights get brighter. A player who walks into a clubhouse and instantly changes its temperature. Matt Johnson made it clear. If Tucker is open to a long-term deal, Toronto is ready. More ready than almost anyone else in this race. And now look at how everything connects. The Yankees under pressure. An inflated infield market. Teams spending chips too early because fear is louder than patience. Meanwhile, Toronto is staring at one brutal choice. Trade comfort for impact, or hold on too long and watch another contender sprint past. The real question isn't whether Kyle Tucker makes the Blue Jays better. That part is obvious. The question is whether Toronto is prepared for the silence that follows losing Bo Bichette. Because silence isn't empty. It's loud in the clubhouse. It's loud in the stands. It rewrites the narrative overnight. And narratives matter more than front offices like to admit. But here's the part people avoid saying out loud. Teams that come one win away from the World Series don't get to operate scared. Fear turns contenders into footnotes. Either you double down, or you watch history move on without you. Windows don't politely stay open. They slam shut when you blink too long. Jazz Chisholm Jr. isn't the solution for Toronto, but is part of the ripple effect forcing this decision. He's the symbol of a market tightening, of options disappearing, of leverage shifting. And as those doors close elsewhere, Toronto's clock gets louder. So now it comes back to you. If you were sitting in the Blue Jays front office, would you go all in on Kyle Tucker and accept the shockwave of losing Bichette, or would you cling to familiarity and risk being overtaken by teams willing to move faster? Drop your answer in the comments. I read them all, and this community only gets sharper when everyone speaks. This is the Blue Jays report, and moments like this define franchises. The clock is ticking, the league is watching, and Toronto doesn't get the luxury of time anymore. Subscribe, stay with us, and brace yourself, because the next move won't be quiet.